Hey guys, hi. It's Coach T, and I'm here to talk to you guys about another collection scenario, right? So, this is going to be the refusal to sign. It's probably one of the easiest outside of uneventful, right? So, it's a refusal to sign. If you guys have not checked the other videos, the uneventful scenario, the temperature out of range, the quantity not sufficient, shy bladder, all those videos, make sure you check it out. In the uneventful video, we went and we dived deep into how to complete the CCF. Okay, I went ahead and I shared my screen. I showed you detail line by line what needs to be completed and everything like that. So make sure you check it out. Okay, so we're gonna get started. This is a refusal to sign collection. Here's what a CCF looks like. Highlighted in pink, that's the collector's area. And highlighted in orange, that is for the donor. If you notice on page 1, this is the test facility copy number 1. It's highlighted in pink. Nowhere is highlighted in orange, right? You're going to turn to page 2, and voila. See, the donor only completes page 2. The lab does not need to know who the donor is. They are identified by a specimen number, which is right up here. Okay, you see the barcode? This is a specimen number that is 3305677, and the account number is 11475385. Okay, this is a specimen ID number. So this is how the laboratory or the test facility identify the donor just by a specimen ID number, whereas the MRO, employer, donor, and collector, identifies the donor as an actual person. Okay. So this is the form, so you guys can see. Now we're going to go ahead and complete the refusal to sign. So, of course, while you're in your office, you're in your lab, you're waiting for the client. Thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting Jake's Labs. How may I help you? Yes, you're here for a drug test. Okay, you don't look like you're here to take a drug test. You don't feel like taking a drug test. You don't really want to, but you came. All right, let's just go ahead. Provide me the driver's license. Is this a pre-employment or random? Okay, no problem. Provide me the driver's license and let me see the form that they sent you or provided you. Okay. Oh, your name is Aubrey. How you pronounce your last name? All right, thank you. It's Aubrey Ricochet. Okay, his last name is Aubrey Ricochet. His name is Aubrey Ricochet. All right, so Mr. Ricochet, can I just call you Aubrey? All right, I'll do that because I don't want to butcher your name. No problem. All right, I'm going to go ahead and verify that Mr. Ricochet, Mr. Aubrey, information matches up. He matches with the authorization form. The donor information is accurate. The first and last name matches. Is the employer information, the MRO information, the billing information, the ER information, and the lab that they're choosing is LabCorp. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get our LabCorp cups. For training purposes, we're using Quest. Okay, I'm gonna use the Quest cups because that's what I brought here, right? Okay. It's LabCorp and it's a DOT test, and this is for random. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete the CCF the correct way. Okay, make sure I check reasonable suspicion, the driver's license number, I'm specifying the DOT agency, which is FMCSA. It is reasonable suspicion, not a random. And PCO, PCP, cocaine, opiates, amphetamine, and THC. All right, now that is complete. The first half of the CCF. Okay, Mr. Aubrey, please go ahead and follow me to the back. Empty out your pockets, lock everything up in the box. I need for you to go ahead and wash your hands, and you're going to keep the key in your pocket. Now that you have washed your hands, I'm going to go ahead and tape the bathroom with our blue tape. X over the sink, perpendicular, and over the lever. And the toilet bowl tank, over the toilet bowl tank, X, perpendicular, and over the lever. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop the blue tablet inside the top inside of the toilet bowl. That way it prevents adulteration, okay? In that case. Make sure you have on gloves. You can either pour the tablet in the cap, or you can just take it directly with your hand with a glove on because it stings, and put it directly into the toilet bowl. All right, go ahead, Mr. Aubrey, and choose your cup. All right, thank you. I need you to also open up your cup in front of me and empty the contents out of the cup. So, Mr. Aubrey, empty out the contents out of the cup. All right, Mr. Aubrey, you see the signs that says do not wash your hands and do not flush the toilet. I know it's a custom for us to wash our hands and flush the toilet, but this is a DOT test and you are required not to do that. You have to follow instructions. You do have 2 to 3 minutes to use the restroom. So please go ahead and do so. Here, I need you to provide me 60 mLs or more. Now, for training, you guys, if you know, per DOT, it's 45 ml that is required. We ask for 60 just because throughout transport, we want to make sure that we have enough specimens so we can, so it doesn't be a cancel test, or fatal flaw, anything like that. Okay, we don't want them to say, oh, insufficient specimen, and then no, you're going to have to come back and they're upset. So per DOT, you need 45 ml, 30 in one bottle, 50 in the other. But we ask for 60 or more. Okay. You have 2 to 3 minutes to use the restroom. Mr. Aubrey, do not wash your hand. There goes the sign. Do not flush the toilet. All right. Provide me 60 or more. You don't have to overfill it. Take the cup. Mr. Aubrey went in the restroom. I have the rest of the supplies, the contents of the cup on the side. I'm just double checking my CCF, making sure the employee information is correct. I have the driver's license of the donor, the DOT agency's FMCSA. It is a reasonable suspicious cause or test. The test to be performed is PCOPE, which is PCP, cocaine, opiates, opioids, amphetamine, and THC. The collection site information name is there, and the phone number and fax number is there. Okay, so all of that is completed. This is a urine test, so I'm going to go ahead with step 2 and complete that part. And it's going to be split because it is a DOT. If it's DOT, it has to be split. It cannot be single. Okay, the donor came out. Thank you, Miss Aubrey. I'm holding the cup. I'm feeling the temperature. He did provide me sufficient. The temperature is in range. So I'm going to go ahead and select the option that says collector reads urine within 4 minutes, temperature between 90 degrees and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to check yes. Now, no issues so far. Okay, so Mr. Aubrey, I need you to just watch. I need you to just watch me as I conduct this split. Can I wash my hands? No, you cannot wash your hands right now. Just go ahead and watch what I'm doing. I'm opening up the tube in front of him. Click. That's 1. Click. That's 2, right? I'm going to go ahead. Please watch me, Mr. Aubrey. I'm pouring about a little over 30 in bottle A. Click. Click. And then a little over 15 in bottle B. Click. Click. I'm going to toss the rest out. Excuse me, Mr. Aubrey. Let me go ahead and toss the rest out. I'm going to toss the rest out into the restroom while I'm checking my areas, peripheral vision, surrounding areas to make sure there was no signs of adulteration. Toss the cup, flush the toilet, toss the cup into the biohazard bin, and I'm going to take out my gloves and throw it in the trash, right? Of course, I'll put some more gloves on when I get back out there if necessary. Now that we have completed that, Mr. Aubrey, you can go ahead and wash your hands. Mr. Aubrey went ahead and washed his hands. And now I need you to go ahead and watch what I'm doing. I'm going to remove the label. Be careful. Label A goes on bottle A. And label B goes on bottle B. So, for an example, this is tearing up, but it's not tearing up the right way. So you want to be very, very careful. Okay. Remember, the front of the bottle is this hook right here, and the back is this little piece right here. So you want to make sure the label is the opposite side. Okay. The front is right here, and the back is right here. Make sure the label is on the opposite side. Go ahead as the collector. I'm going to go ahead and do, and the donor. Mr. Aubrey, I need you to go ahead and initial for me, please. So the donor will initial. And this is what it looks like. The date is there and the donor initial. The date is there and the donor initials. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bag. Mr. Aubrey wants to remove his stuff items from the box. So Mr. Aubrey, you can't do it as yet. Just wait. Just give us a couple more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put the specimen ID I'm sorry, the specimen bottles inside of the front part of the bag, because the front part of the bag has the tissue. In the event that there's any leakage, it doesn't go all over the bag. It is soaking up in the tissue, right? And then we have the biggest side of the bag. So now it's time for Mr. Aubrey to complete his section, because as the collector, I've already completed my portion. I'm going to turn to page 2. So you're going to remove the perforated edges. I'm turning to page 2. All right, Mr. Aubrey, I need for you to go ahead and sign your name, print your name, provide me with an email address, a daytime number, even a phone number for today's date and your date of birth. If you only have one phone, you are allowed to put your phone number twice in the daytime and evening. You said what? You don't want to sign? Why is that? Okay, you just don't feel like signing? No problem. Let me just go ahead and contact your employer. So Mr. Aubrey said he doesn't want to sign. So I'm just going to go ahead and proceed by calling the employer. Hi, this is Toya from J's Laboratories and Screening. I'm calling because I have a donor here. It came in for a reasonable suspicion drug test. Yes, and we're to the end, almost to the end of the test, and we need him to sign, but he doesn't want to sign. How would you like me to proceed? Proceed with the DOT requirements. Not a problem. And what is your name? Matthew Jenkins? No problem. Thank you again. Have a great day. In the remarks section, I'm going to put donor refuse to sign. So I could put RFS or RTS. So refuse to sign, or RFS, refuse to sign, or write the word out, refuse to sign. But I'm going to put RTS, donor refuse to sign, at 7 a.m. period, contacted employer, spoke with Matthew Jenkins, advised to proceed for DOT. So my remarks said, donor refused to sign at 7 a.m. Contacted employer, spoke with Matthew Jenkins, advised to proceed with DOT policy, okay? So what that means, when a donor refuses to sign, make sure they are watching what you're doing. We already initialed the two, but he doesn't want to sign. We contact the employer, we proceed with DOT. And even if the employer had said, well, no, I'll just cancel it. No, you have to still, DOT rule takes precedent over anything. So you have to follow what the rules and the policies are. Okay, this is your certification, not the employer. So if the employer were to say, it's okay, just go ahead and just don't do nothing or cancel it. No, you still have to proceed and you're still submitting this test, even if the employer tells you we're canceling the test. No, you still got to submit it because you got to get paid. All right. So as the collector, you cannot sign the signature for the donor because that's forgery. So in on page 2, where the donor is supposed to complete, as the collector, the only thing you're allowed to do is one thing. Do you know what that is? Print the donor's name. So I'm not going to sign. I'm not going to put a phone number. I'm going to put a date of birth. I'm not going to put the time. None of that. I'm not going to fill out anything else in the donor section except print the donor's name. So I'm going to go ahead and write Aubrey Ricochet. So I'm not going to sign. I'm not going to do anything like that because in my notes, it already says donor refused to sign at 7 a.m. Contacted employer, spoke with Michael Jenkins, advised to proceed with DOT policy, which means if the donor refuses to sign, all you have to do is print the donor's name, and then you turn back to page 1, and then you complete your section as the donor, and the specimen is being released to FedEx. While the donor is watching you, everything is being completed, right? Now I'm going to remove the perforated area. I'm going to remove that first copy, fold it in half. Y'all see? Right. Then I'm going to fold it in half again and making sure that the barcode refreshing, and I'm going to put it on the bigger side of the pouch. Remember, you want the barcode to show, so you're going to turn it around. Before you seal the bag, you need to just ensure that the specimen is in the bag and the lab copy is also in the bag with the barcode out. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and seal the bag and put it in your lockbox till the end of the day. Or if it is the end of the day, you put it in your FedEx bag right here. If it's the end of the day, you just put it in your lockbox. If you have a lockbox, you put it in the lockbox. At the end of the day, you go ahead and remove it and put it in the bag to ship out. Okay? Yes. That is how you complete a refusal to sign. So if the donor refuses to sign, that is fine. Just make sure you contact the employer. What if the employer didn't answer? What would you do? All right, let me tell you. If you contact the employer and the employer did not answer, DOT policies take precedent. You will still follow through. You will go ahead in the notes and you will put, refusal to sign at 7 a.m. Contacted employer, was unable to speak to an employer or employer was unavailable. You're going to put contact the employer at 2:50. The time that you call the employer, you're going to put that there. And if you was not able to speak to anybody, was not able to speak to an employer or unavailable, will proceed, and then you would put will proceed with DOT policy, which is you print the donor's name, but you don't do anything else in that section, and you proceed with the test. You're going to take the donor's copy, which is number 5. You're going to remove it, you're going to provide it to the donor and say, have a great day. So, Mr. Aubrey, okay, we're going to go ahead and submit your test. Here's your copy. We want you to have a good day, okay? Thank you. And you're going to send over the MRO copy and the employer copy over to the employer and the MRO. So that way they could have their copy, and you as a collector, you keep your copy in your files for 30 days. That is how you complete a refusal to test. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. Comment if you need to. Let me know. Give me some feedbacks. And let me know what other videos you guys would like to see. But this was a DOT qualification collector process for the refusal to sign collection scenario. Thank you.